The airlines are asking for those negative tests. The mayor of New York City, Bill de Blasio, is going an extra step, saying if you have somebody in your house that came in from over there, we're going to come looking for you. Here's what he said, then we'll talk to our panel about it.
Immediately, all travelers, literally every single traveler coming in from the United Kingdom will receive a Department of Health commissioner's order directing them to quarantine. But specifically for folks coming in from the UK, given that particular concern, we are going to have sheriff's deputies go to the home or the hotel of every single traveler coming in from the UK.
Bill McGurn, you want to take this first? Sheriff's deputies going to people's homes coming in from the UK with this new strain? That's what the mayor says.
Yeah, it was just a few weeks ago that the mayor disagreed with Governor Cuomo's call to put cops going after people on Thanksgiving and so forth in the crowds in the home. I don't think he has the resources to do this. And to me, it's another Bill de Blasio gesture. I'm very skeptical that he's able to do this, that we'd find in a month from now that they actually did it in an organized way. Again, it just seems that Bill de Blasio has very confusing priorities. If they didn't have the deputies to go around, to check people's houses. Now, they might say there are fewer travelers from the UK, but let's see.
This whole strain of coronavirus that's getting a lot of attention, and I understand why, Francis, from the UK, we're always so reactive. I think we may have talked about this yesterday a little bit, but we're always so reactive when we hear about something because we have to be. We haven't, it's not news until we've heard about it, and by then, just by definition, it's almost old news. So if you're trying to stop people from coming in, even Dr. Fauci has said they're probably already here. So I'm not sure if it's going to matter that much. But what's your take on this?
Yeah, they're probably already here, and 2020 has been quite a year for Bill de Blasio's popularity contest. Yeah, again, we had all of the defund the police efforts earlier this year. We've had contradictory orders from almost all politicians in all states. We have politicians breaking their own contradictory orders, and I just think people have too much fatigue. And I do agree that I don't think that they're going to be able to implement it. I think that there's a lot of posturing going on into the end of the year, posturing going into the end of the vaccine. And I think Bill de Blasio, I can't even say his name anymore. Bill de Blasio wants to be seen as having taken full responsibility and done the right thing. And I think there's so much posturing going on around the world. I don't think this is very practical, and I don't think it's going to make much of a difference.
Gary, what do you think?
Well, I'm biased. If Bill de Blasio says up, I say down. If he says down, I say up. Look, I find it ironic that the talk of police reform, where if you have a dispute with the family and maybe somebody gets hurt, they're going to send a social worker over. But if you come to the UK, we're going to send a sheriff in town to come look at you. And if you're bad, we're going to fine the heck out of you. I think he wakes up in the morning and thinks of too many things he needs to do and has to do. And as I said earlier, I'm here in Florida, and right or wrong, the government here has decided it's we the people, and we're going to trust you, and we're going to trust your businesses to act in a very responsible fashion, and we'll keep our fingers crossed things go well, because you're smarter and better than the government. I just think it's the opposite in places like New York City, and that's why his popularity is a little bit lower than root canal right now.
Yeah, don't knock it until you try it. You're anti-de Blasio. I wonder if that works kind of as a trading strategy. It sounds like that's from your stock trading days. So whatever de Blasio says, I'm shorting it, that kind of thing. One more topic, guys, before we break here, and that is the vaccine. Bill, start with you on this. The numbers tell us that next week the U.S. will distribute about 4.7 million doses of the vaccines that we have, Pfizer and Moderna. It depends on your point of view on this. Some people say, well, the rollout should be going a little bit faster. Others say, all right, we're going to start to pick it up, and we're in a pretty good spot. What's your impression been of how we're rolling out these two vaccines so far?
Well, I think that the rollout should give us a better focus on what really matters. We've been debating the stimulus bill and so forth, and I think we're focused on the wrong thing. The real stimulus is the vaccine when that comes out. That is what will give people confidence. That is what will help solve the problem, and lifting the shutdowns. Those are the real stimulus things. So I think we should be encouraging it. Mm-hmm. And I know different states are taking different different approaches. In Florida, they're going to inoculate the elderly first. There's an argument for that. The argument for the other way is to reduce the spread, but the argument for the elderly is it reduces death. So I don't think there's any one real answer about how to do it. It's one reason we have a federalist system, but I think we have to keep the focus that the important thing is not all what the government does in terms of different economic aid, but to get the economy back on track, and the stimulus is really the vaccine plus the relaxation of all these shutdowns.
Right. As soon as we feel that confidence, Gary, and maybe a young, healthy guy like you doesn't need it versus somebody else in Florida, right, who might. And it was interesting that DeSantis, the governor there, got some attention to Bill's point yesterday for prioritizing senior citizens in general, those 65 and over, rather than 75 and older, and rather than some of the younger so-called essential workers. So what do you make of it, Gary?
Well, first, let's state that the fact that we're even rolling it out before 2021 is a miracle, and there should be parades for these scientists that were able to get this thing done when it usually takes 3 to 5 years. Look, the states are going to be doing different things, different ways. I'm just hope they get it right. For me, the elderly, the infirmed, you start there. Why? Because all we have heard since day one is the elderly and the people that already have illnesses are the ones that get it worse, get it easier, and actually die easier. So you start there and you work your way down. And I think we're getting that in a lot of areas, and hopefully it follows. And look, all I can tell you is to get this whole thing done isn't soon enough. I can't wait for the big parties in a few months when we can go to a basketball and football games and sit in stadiums and arenas and eat hot dogs and burgers. I can't wait.
Yeah, you're not going to go to Knick games again. I know you're a big Knick fan, but
we'll still go and be depressed.
I won't be depressed. Oh man, like we always have been.